week. Obviously, a measuring stick kind of game tonight, or Sunday rather, with Loyola coming to town.
Yeah, bye week kind of came at a, I don't necessarily know if it's a good time or bad time. Sometimes these weeks can play, a role in momentum, or it can give you some opportunities to kind of, get healthy, whatever it may be. So it's at a time where we've tried to take advantage of it. And, as we head into Sunday, we know we have a, unbelievable, not only opportunity, but an unbelievable opponent. Loyola's playing fantastic, maybe as well as anybody in our league. Defensively, they're playing probably as hard, if not harder, than anybody in our league. Shooting the ball extremely well as a team from three, and they have a really unique inside presence at the 4 and the 5. So, to me, they're peaking, really at the right time. They've been able to win a lot of road games, done it with great toughness, and they've been impressive. So we have our work cut out for us Sunday. We really do. I'm hopeful that over the next couple days here, we can continue to build ourselves up. We're charged up and ready to go. We're in the back half of conference play. We started that back half off with a double road swing, and were able to split it. Thought we played well at moments at UMass, and thought we, really played poorly at UMass at times, especially defensively in the second half. But had a shot to rim out, on the road. And we fought our way back into that game, which was a good sign. But, now we have an opportunity at home, and we'll see where we're at come Sunday. It's going to be, like I said, a difficult challenge.
Although Loyola's favored, how much of a difference does it make having this game be at home?
I think at the end of the day, playing at home or on the road, you have to take care of business at home if you want to have a good season, period. If you want to have good seasons, if you want to continue to build, your opportunity to finish the season well, winning big home games is the name of the game. And we're going to need a great environment on Sunday, but we're going to have to play well. Whether you're at home or on the road in February, you're going to have to play well to win at this time of year. And we're going to have to be at our best. We're going to have to play complete, and we're going to have to be very, very complete. We're not going to be able to get away with a lot on either end of the floor if we're not sharp and taking care of it, running good offense versus their defense. They're very physical. And then, defensively, transition defense, I think they're as good as anybody in the league right now, getting early offense, striking different ways. In the half court, they play really well, move the ball. We're going to have to be disciplined, but no question about it. You like being at home a little bit more, obviously, than being on the road, but you're going to have to play well wherever you're at this time of year, regardless of who you're playing, to have a chance to win.
Archie, any update on David Green?
David's really used the week to rehab. He really has. He had significant swelling, in the second half of the game after he came down awkwardly. But with the bye week being what it is, he's been able to use the training room to his advantage. He's yet to practice this week. He'll be a game time decision based on how he's able to implement himself over the next couple days into Sunday. And if he's not able to go, clearly we've been working without him. If he is able to go, then we'll implement him kind of like we have been the last couple weeks. He was out for a good week with illness last week, but no real update on him or Always. Right. Always is very, in a tough spot right now with a shoulder injury, upper body. Hasn't done anything for about 12 days, and it's put a lot of pressure, on our backcourt here every day, and in particular game day has been really hard to not have that second ball handler.
But just in terms of David, nothing serious going forward?
Don't think so, no. I think he was checked by docs at UMass by training room, and then obviously UMass's doctor was there, and then as he's come back, he's been evaluated. I think, really at the end of the day, it came down to an awkward landing that probably tweaked or flared up, some things, but it's nothing that we're looking at and saying, this is a long-term thing.
Archie, with the end of the UMass game, the fight that you showed to give yourselves a shot there at the end to try to win that game, how much is that progress from your group?
Yeah, it's positive. It's a positive. I thought at times in that game, first 16 minutes of the first half played pretty well. Broke down at the end of the first half, and went to halftime with the lead. Really disappointed in the start of the second half. I think that really set the tone for the rest of the game in terms of UMass being able to really, really offensively just get what they wanted. And it broke the game at that one stretch in the second half where they got up double figures. But it was really good to watch our team find a way to kind of hang around, and then break through with a couple big plays to get that thing at the, I think, under 4 minute mark going into last time out. It was a 2-possession game. You know, they missed some free throws to help us, you know, gave us a chance. The window was open, and we put it in a position that we at least had an opportunity there to tie the game, win the game, one possession game. So I think that was a positive that, you know, at this time of year on the road, you know, you're right there clawing to compete to win the game. And that's what it's about at this time of year. You know, nothing's pretty, nothing's easy. You're on film. Everybody knows everybody at this point in time. And it really comes down to the little things, you know, at this time of year. You doing the little things well. And, you know, I think Loyola's a prime example. They've probably had probably half a dozen games in our conference that could have went either way. They've pulled them all out. And I think that's a credit to their staff and their group, just in terms of how hard they compete and play. So Sunday I expect it to be very, very similar in terms of how hard it's going to be. But we're going to have to play well, like I said. But it was a good sign that, you know, at the end of the day, that game didn't continue to go in a double-figure manner, and it was able to get back into a position that we were right there.
Sure. This Loyola team, like, how much is it just a collective effort from these?
Very much so.
They don't
Both
have
ends.
a leading scorer.
You know, both ends of the floor.
Yeah.
You know, I think they're returning players. The core group of guys that were back from a year ago are much better, much improved. They were young a year ago in some of their guard positions. They also have some older guys in Alston and Norris. They did a good job of adding some pieces. Watson's been terrific for them. Adelican's been really, really good for them. It's given them an older presence. And then their incoming freshman, Ruben, is terrific. You know, so they've got a great balance all the way across the board, like you said. I think their scoring really dictates, you know, it kind of exemplifies how they play. They share the ball really well. They have a lot of guys that can ding you from three. They also have a good inside-outside presence with their 4s and 5s with Alston and Adelican. Very fun team to watch as they've played in conference play. Play hard, play together. Got a lot of different guys that can contribute, and you know, I think that's probably been their calling card.
Did you have a question?
Coach, can you just talk about Louis leading team down the stretch to get you guys within, and he got the last shot that unfortunately didn't go in, but can you talk about him just being able to get you guys really close and into that opportunity?
Yeah, Louis is a good offensive player for us. He's, you know, really our only ball handler. He's our only creator at times, and he's done a good job with that. He's having to handle a lot right now on his plate with very few, you know, time to take a break, so to speak. You know, especially with always going down. But he's handling the ball the majority of the time for us. He's playing, you know, a new position. He's doing a lot of different things. He impacts the stat sheet, though. And when he impacts the stat sheet all over the place, I think that's when Louis is at his best. He can score, he can create, but he also can rebound. And I think he's just got to stay with it and try to keep playing at a high level in terms of taking care of the ball. He deals with a lot of pressure, game in and game out, to be able to make a lot of plays. I think fatigue, conditioning, you know, plays a role in some of his mistakes at times. So it's something he's got to get through here down in back 3 weeks.
Like from a guard's perspective, and you can speak to this, when there's a shot blocker like Ruben on the floor, just how much does that affect when you penetrate and you touch the paint? You know, just your thought process.
Yeah, you got to be smart. I think the unique thing about these guys is they got a great shot blocking presence with him in there, but they do a great job of defending the rim with their switches late in clock positions. They do a lot of switching off the ball, do a lot of grabbing, shoving, holding. I mean, it is a physical game when you play against those guys. So you have to play through it. And they don't give up a ton of threes. You know, I think they're trying to, you know, obviously funnel you into that shot blocker. But he's very, very impressive. He's a very impressive young freshman. You can tell down the line how good he's going to be. He has a rim presence on both ends of the floor with the lob threat and then also, you know, shot blocking. Probably right now he's probably a little light in the butt being a young guy, but, you know, he's getting away with that. And then they also will bring in Adelican, who's a little bit of a, you know, maybe a 180, maybe a much different offensive player than he is. But I think, you know, in general, teams that deal with shot blocking the right way can usually find ways to get assists, you know, when they convert. I think they do a very good job of making you, you know, react late in the clock, of having to challenge him because of the switches and some of the things that they do. But they've really, really impressive defensively. He's impressive defensively around the rim. And I think, you know, our 2-point field goal offense, forcing twos, getting your shot blocked, struggling around the basket, those are some things I think maybe hopefully we can find a way to sacrifice some of those for maybe some assists, you know, some kickouts, some open threes, sharing the ball. It's something that we've talked a lot about. You know, I think probably in the UMass game, in the first half, I counted probably about 10 2-point baskets that we missed. Probably about 6 or 7 of the 10 were, good shots. It's just you got to make the layup, and I think, difficult around the rim. We'll see. I think we depend a lot on the free throw line. We get to the basket quite a bit. Drawing fouls is a big deal, so it can play both ends. If you run good offense and you can't attack and get good seams, you can maybe get some contact in and around the basket, draw some fouls on the shot blocker at times if you put them in a tough spot. But like I said, you have to be tough. You have to be strong. You also have to sacrifice maybe some of those challenge twos for some open kickouts or at least some pass outs to get yourself in maybe another drive.
With a guy like Adelican, how well developed can an Ivy League transfer be, knowing that they've spent a lot of time in one program and they come into a program like this? I'm sure it's a lot of experience, pretty sound, technically too.
My experience with graduate guys in general, they have to be provided with a great role that they want, and I think part of what they have great role definition is Loyola Chicago has allowed him to be himself. If you watched him in his career, he's been a very good offensive player in the Ivy, and he does it the very same way at Loyola. A lot of high post catches, a lot of multiple dribbles into the post, a lot of backing you down. He's very savvy, he's crafty. So I think the role that he's been provided and the role that he signed up for has worked out well for him. He's a good player, and I have the utmost respect for the Ivy League in general. I think the Ivy League is one of the most underrated leagues in college basketball. It always is. You're dealing with a high IQ guy in most cases, and also a guy that's played a lot of good basketball in his career. So, I think roles everything for the transfer guys that come in, especially if you have 1 year. Style of play, obviously being allowed to be yourself when you first get there is probably something that you're looking for. But he's adapted very well, and I think their staff's done a really good job of mixing him into that role. And he's definitely provided them with an older player alongside of a very young player in a 1-2 punch at the center position that's worked out well.
Any final questions for Coach? All right.
All
See you
right.
all on,
Thank you, Coach.
Saturday.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Roger.
See you guys.